Shakur Stevenson is a first-class fighter, and I don't think it's going to make any difference that he give his title up because of weight difference. He'll just go to the next division and win that title as well.
People wanted this young, talented, brilliant talent, brilliant defensive fighter, brilliant guy at control and range, Olympic silver medalist, quick hands, technically solid. He finally satisfied the critics, and he mixed offense with the defense.
Terrence, you're here for your little brother this week, in Shakur Stevenson. I've interviewed both of you for years, and you really have kind of built a relationship that a lot of people know about, and some people maybe don't. How good is Shakur Stevenson in your opinion?
He's not good, he's great. You know, Shakur got all the tools and all the abilities to do bigger and better things than me, and that's what I'm hoping for him to do.
Boxing legends believe Shakur Stevenson may never lose because he combines elite skill with rare composure.
He stood his ground, and he punched, and he still got the better of it with the sweet science, being defensively responsible, but without having to be less entertaining. He was more entertaining. He satisfied people. He made people, they said, that's what we wanted in Shakur. And they got it.
Andre Ward has publicly appreciated and praised Shakur Stevenson's talent, saying that Stevenson's potential in boxing is great because he is a student of the game who keeps learning, stays dedicated, and trains with great discipline.
You know, I think he had a lot of stuff he could have did, but he's so talented and gifted, man. You know, you also got to trust what he's seeing in there. You know, we on the outside, you know. But I think he put on a tremendous performance, and obviously, you know, the level he's at, you always look for things he could do better, you know.
What did you see from the outside that he might be?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, like I think it was a lot of body work and stuff like that he could have touched on, but again, he's in there, you know, so he's seeing stuff, he's feeling the punches. We not. So you got to trust what he's seeing.
Teofimo just couldn't get going.
He put on well, he tried to get going. He just wasn't allowed to. So it's just the distance and range that Shakur has just perfected throughout the years, and then making him pay when he does that discourages him to not want to punch anymore. And I think he was out of answers in the first round. Honestly, I think he didn't really have any answers. When Teo starts doing little certain things with his hands and starts playing the clown game, he out of answers. He's down to just one shot. So Shakur just stayed focused, stayed locked in. And, you know, was at 4 divisions now? 26, 30, 35, 40.
Ward said, "We don't truly know how great Shakur can be yet because he's still developing and hasn't faced all of the elite competition possible."
We don't know, he's not done yet, you know. He's not done yet. He's a great for sure. How great, we gonna see. You know, he got a lot of, he can box as long as he wants to box because he don't take punishment, and he's a master boxer, you know what I mean? So, just excited for him, man, happy for him, man. You know, it's hard for me to see my brothers fight when I'm not fighting. That's harder to me than to actually fight because I can't help him. So I'm just happy it's over, man. I'm happy he got the win and get home to them babies, get that check.
Last one from me. He's in there in the ring with Conor Ben. Do you like that fight for sure?
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you think that one goes?
Conor's always dangerous. He's gonna come forward, but man, it's gonna look a lot like that. And there's no disrespect to Conor Ben. You know, I respect what he does and how he does it, but the skill set, bro, is different. They say them boxers boring, man. Why they be saying that?
Terrence Crawford has praised Shakur Stevenson's skill and suggested that other fighters hesitate to fight him, implying that some boxers are reluctant to match up with Stevenson because of how difficult he is stylistically and technically.
There's a reason why certain fighters didn't want to take the chance to step in the ring with this fighter. He's great. A lot of people started saying, oh, he's a runner, he's this, he's that. Just to detour people from being excited to see him fight because he's not knocking people out and all that crazy stuff, but they would see why people really don't want to get in the ring with him come tomorrow.
I know you've shared the ring with him, sparring plenty of times. What makes Shakur Stevenson great? What makes him different? What makes him, I don't want to say an ilk of yourself, but in the same kind of era, the Bud Crawford era, he's got a Shakur Stevenson era coming.
Everything. The offense, the defense, the poise, the rhythm, the distance, the timing, the punch placement, the react time. Like, I can go on and on, you know, the toughness, the grit, the grind. Like, he's amazing, you know. And tomorrow he will show it.
How do you think it ends tomorrow night? Do you believe that Shakur Stevenson can stop Teofimo Lopez? Because people aren't really talking about that.
Listen, if T.O. get out of line, you know, he can get hurt. You know? But I see Shakur outboxing him to a decision, a unanimous decision at that.
Deontay Wilder has acknowledged that Shakur Stevenson is one of the smartest and most technically gifted boxers in the sport today, noting his ability to control distance, time punches, and use defense to frustrate opponents.
Shakur in that fight. You know what I mean? Shakur is very skillful. He's very smart in the ring, and he comes to fight every time. So
Floyd Mayweather has praised Shakur Stevenson's skill and boxing ability, though he hasn't exactly said he's the best fighter in his division in those exact words. What Mayweather has said is that Stevenson is the most skillful fighter in his division, especially compared to Gervonta Davis, whom Mayweather called the hardest puncher, while naming Stevenson as the more technically gifted boxer in the weight class. Mayweather also once told a younger Stevenson that if anyone could break his records, it might be him, showing belief in his potential and skill level early in his career.
Well, you got guys fighting between 130, 135, and 140. They stack, you know, around that area. So, I mean, as of right now,
skills that pay the bills.
Well, the two guys, well, the biggest puncher, I feel, at the 135 will probably be Gervonta Tank Davis.
Mm-hmm.
But the most skillful fighter at 135 will be hands down Shakur Stevens.
And what is it about him? Because I know he have a lot of good attributes, but do you think he has enough power to sustain?
Well, it's really all about skills. Pernell Whitaker wasn't a huge puncher, but he was, I mean, very exciting, very tough, and he fought everybody. And Shakur is trying to do the same thing. He want to fight the best they got out there.
Mike Tyson has publicly appreciated Shakur Stevenson's boxing ability, calling him a specialist in the sport, someone whose skills and technique make him hard to beat, even if some fans don't fully understand his style. Tyson said that although Stevenson's fights aren't always exciting to everyone, that's because true boxing is an art, and Stevenson's precision, defense, and ring smarts are exactly what allow him to beat great fighters convincingly. Tyson also praised Stevenson's recent performances, saying he looks superb with masterful combinations and head movement, and that his approach exemplifies classic boxing, hit and not get hit.
How could Shakur beat him if he can't hurt him? That would be my question.
Listen, you don't have to hurt him, you just have to outscore him. You know, Shakur takes a good shot though, you know. He's a specialist. That's why some fights that he doesn't look good in, because he's so superior. And it's boring watching sometimes. But he's a specialist. He knows what he's doing. He's hard to beat.
Stevenson is a 2016 Olympic silver medalist who has now remained unbeaten as a professional and just climbed to 140 pounds to challenge Teofimo Lopez for world title gold. Stevenson's elite defensive skills, precision punching, southpaw movement, and ring intelligence have made him exceptionally hard to beat, and his ability to control distance and tempo has allowed him to outmaneuver top fighters in multiple divisions. Stevenson openly talks about wanting to cement his legacy, not just as another champion, but as one of the best boxers ever, taking on the biggest challenges and proving himself against elite competition.
You know, people think the fight with T.O. is either going to be you delivering a masterclass
or a knockout by T.O.
Yeah, or you getting into some type of brawl with T.O. and end up getting knocked out, right? What are fans getting wrong about the matchup?
I think the fans is getting wrong about the matchup is where I'm not sleeping on that I know about T.O. T.O.'s a good boxer. Mm-hmm. He's boxer first. Mm-hmm. So we could say, oh, he's just going to knock you out, or he's just going to... That's not him. He's boxing first. He's going to want to establish distance and range on the outside and try to beat me up on the outside. So I think that's the main thing. And also the biggest thing that everybody don't realize with me, I could punch. Mm-hmm. Everybody say, oh, he can't punch, and then boom, crack somebody, and then they laying down, or something may happen to where they hurt or something like that. So I think that's two big things where they don't understand and know.
Eddie Hearn recently came out strongly in support of Shakur Stevenson, saying the slick southpaw is one of the most underrated fighters in boxing today. According to Hearn, fans and critics alike often overlook just how difficult Shakur is to beat because his style isn't built on knockouts, but on elite fundamentals, ring IQ, and defensive mastery. Hearn emphasized that Stevenson's ability to control distance, neutralize dangerous opponents, and dominate rounds makes him a nightmare matchup for anyone, regardless of weight class. He also pointed out that winning cleanly and consistently at the highest level requires a special kind of greatness that often goes unappreciated. In Hearn's view, Shakur's resume, discipline, and technical brilliance deserve far more respect than he currently receives from the boxing public.
I think Shakur is massively underrated in terms of his achievements and his ability. Everyone in boxing knows how good Shakur is. He is pound for pound top 5 in terms of quality. But look at the achievements of the young man. At 28 years of age, he's already a 3-division world champion. This is to become a 4-division world champion. Quite remarkable. And Teofimo always rises to the occasion. Sometimes you see a little bit of a lackluster performance when he's not motivated, when there isn't kind of any legacy on the line. This is different. This is a sold-out Madison Square Garden between two of the elite fighters of our generation. And the best thing about this fight is we're seeing them in their prime.
After Stevenson dominated Teofimo with a masterful performance at Madison Square Garden, Brian Bomac McIntyre reacted with high praise. Bomac called Stevenson's outing a masterpiece, saying he looked smooth, calm, and beautiful in the ring, and that young boxers should watch it as a textbook boxing lesson. He highlighted how Stevenson controlled the fight with smart jabbing, movement, and ring IQ, noting there was simply nothing Lopez could do to change the outcome. When asked what it would take to beat Stevenson, Bomac said frankly, "You probably want to stay away from that kid," underscoring just how dominant the performance was.
Masterpiece, man. He looked so smooth, calm, and relaxed, man. That was beautiful. That was the one boxing lesson that you future guys, young guys and amateurs just turning pro, watch that, man. That was beautiful. You heard his father say in the corner, "What happened to your fast hands? That didn't work, man."
Just overall, like, just given the styles and in boxing so well, like, was there any way that Teo could have put on a better performance, a better plan, and gotten a better result?
No, I don't think whatever he would have brought to the table would have worked, man. Shakur just got a great boxing mind. That's just it. He's got a great boxing mind, and once he put his mind to it, he's gonna get the job done.
What is it gonna take to beat someone like him?
I don't know, Brian. Probably want to stay away from that kid, man.
Yeah.
Stevenson was magnificent against Teofimo Lopez, turning in one of the most dominant performances of his career in a 12-round masterclass. He controlled every phase of the fight with elite defense, sharp jabs, and precise counters, making it nearly impossible for Lopez to land clean shots, while Stevenson repeatedly found his mark. All three judges scored the bout 119-109, reflecting how thoroughly Stevenson dictated the action and neutralized Lopez's offense. Stevenson himself called it the art of boxing. Hit and don't get hit and pick guys apart, showing just how effectively he executed that age-old principle. His footwork, timing, and ring IQ were on full display as he outmanned and outboxed a former champion on the biggest stage.
Shakur Stevenson. Wow. I saw some casuals online saying that it wasn't entertaining. But if you're a boxing purist and you know what you're watching, you know that you're watching greatness. The art of hitting and not getting hit. Let me put this into perspective for you. Teofimo Lopez is a 2-weight Ring Magazine champion. He is elite and he's in his prime. Shakur Stevenson went to his weight category and made him look ordinary. He is top 5 pound for pound in the world right now. And he beats anybody and everybody from 135 to 147. And I include Tank.
Greg Hackett reacted with amazement at just how completely Stevenson controlled the fight. Stevenson used elite timing, precision jabs, and sharp counters to exploit every little mistake Lopez made, keeping him off balance and unable to land clean shots, which Greg described as essentially paralyzing Lopez inside the ring by negating his offense and rhythm. Stevenson's mastery of distance and patience meant Lopez never found a way to pressure him effectively. And even when Stevenson picked up his pace, he didn't need to take extra risks to win comfortably.
Shakur Stevenson put the belt to ass Teofimo Lopez, right?
Yeah.
12-round sweep. I know they had it 11-1, but shit, if you watched it, 12 clean rounds.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the performance?
I do. It was excellent. It was. Shakur understands like what 3 minutes is. And you take full advantage of 3 minutes. He take full advantage of the ring. And he exploit whatever it is that you got bad habits at, or wherever you make your mistakes, he gonna exploit that. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to beat that because no matter how hard you train, if you're not able to do what you train to do, it's almost like you left paralyzed.
Hackett highlighted that Stevenson's style isn't about brute force, but about exploiting mistakes and making opponents pay for every misstep, a tactic that made Lopez look ineffective throughout. Stevenson's performance reaffirmed his world champion status and boxed at a level few fighters can consistently reach.
I know we talked about Teofimo's footwork and his inability to cut the ring off in other fights.
Yeah.
Did you see that play a role in this one?
He don't, to me, he don't really trust his footwork. I think if you think about his career, it's not a lot of fighters. It's been a few fighters like the Centillion fight and stuff like that, where guys, they made him use his footwork.
You mean Sandor Martin?
Sandor Martin, my bad. Yeah. It's only been a few fights, guys, a few fights where guys make Tio use his footwork. When he have an off night with those guys, he might say, yo, it's for this reason, it's for that reason. He'll never say it's because my footwork not there, right? Because the average fighter, when Tio make a move, they stay there and he get his off. Or if they jump at him, he take a step back, he counter, put him out. So these are things you wouldn't see in a normal fight, him being in there with a normal fighter. Being in there with a Shakur, where Shakur is the judge, he going to tax you for every little thing you do.
Teofimo Lopez Sr. blamed much of the result on his son not executing their game plan and publicly expressed frustration with how the fight unfolded. Sr. said everything was supposed to go according to plan, but Lopez didn't do what he was told, struggling to adjust and allowing Stevenson to control the bout from start to finish. He implied that mental factors and distractions played a role in Lopez's performance, suggesting his son never really got into the fight after early setbacks and commentary about Stevenson. While he congratulated Stevenson on his victory, Lopez Sr. maintained that was not my son in there and hinted that his fighter wasn't mentally where he needed to be to compete effectively.
Shakur, he boxes because he does step back, you know, but then he comes in and jabs and tries to counter. That's boxing, okay? But not Jermaine Ortiz, not Simon Mellon, and then all of a sudden, if you look at the second round, Jermaine Ortiz was boxing. He was boxing my son the first round. In the second round, he gets hit with a body shot and never came back. He started running from that point on.
Teddy Atlas said the outcome of the Stevenson versus Lopez fight depended heavily on mindset and psychological readiness, not just skill. He explained that while Stevenson's technical mastery and defensive brilliance make him extremely difficult to beat, the fight wouldn't be won on skill alone. Teofimo's mental approach had to be right for him to challenge Stevenson effectively. Tape study, pacing, and Stevenson's ability to stay calm and exploit mistakes would give him an edge if Lopez couldn't impose his will or stay confident. Atlas emphasized that fighters who underestimate Stevenson's mental discipline often pay for it because Stevenson stays patient, sticks to his game plan, and forces opponents into frustration, a key reason Stevenson looked so dominant.
How do you see that fight going?
Which fight?
Teofimo and Shakur.
Listen, to me, you gotta start with Teofimo's mindset. I mean, he's a terrifically talented fighter, but he can be hot and cold. And I think the hot and cold isn't really attached to his physical abilities or condition. I think it's mental. I think, is he in a mental good place? Is he mentally in a good place? I think that, you know, I don't know if we know that for sure, but when he's in mentally a good place, he's a hell of a fighter. I think that what's interesting about this is that he might be the first fighter that Shakur has ever faced that can match him athletically. Speed, quickness, and surpass him in power. But match him with hand speed and leg speed. So that makes it very interesting. I'll tell you something that nobody would.
Do you think this performance makes him undefeatable at 140 pounds? Or should he face bigger names like Conor Ben next? Drop your thoughts below.